What if space travel doesn't just lead us through the cosmos, but deep into our own consciousness? Right now, as satellites orbit the Sun, NASA scientists are detecting strange vibrations, signals that can't be explained by meteors or cosmic dust. What if this data proves the existence of an invisible field that connects and carries our soul, and no one is talking about it? In this video, we open the sealed archives, follow the secret data curves, and ask, why is this discovery being suppressed? Are you ready to look beyond the silence of science? Welcome to Zeitgeist. Imagine sitting in NASA's control center, surrounded by blinking consoles, live feeds from space probes, and the low hum of cooling data centers. Suddenly, the monitors flicker, anomalous magnetic fluctuations. Not the usual bursts from solar flares or coronal mass ejections, but an unknown rhythm, a subtle constant wave that defies explanation. The first clues surfaced in the data from the Themis mission, time history of events and macro-scale interactions during substorms. The mission was designed to map the Earth's magnetosphere, but between the expected readings, engineers discovered a faint but steady pulse as if space itself were breathing. Driven by curiosity and concern, they turned to more data sources, including the Parker Solar Probe, which was taking direct measurements near the solar corona. When both data sets were synchronized, one thing became clear. This frequency didn't originate from the Sun, or any planet, or from any known physical phenomenon. It passed through the vacuum of space, undisturbed by electromagnetic interference, a cosmic heartbeat measurable throughout the solar system. But what did it mean? In the quiet backrooms of the control center, there was no celebration, only whispers, embarrassed silence. Reports were withdrawn. Segments of data were labeled not relevant. A few brave technicians submitted internal memos, but public statements dismissed it as unusual but harmless interference. Why the hesitation? Simple. Any spark of uncontrollable truth threatens the existing powers, political, economic, ideological. The concept of a spiritual field permeating space didn't fit the dry doctrines of physics, and certainly not the power play over space resources. Still, unofficial studies began to emerge. Geophysicists from the University of Boulder drew parallels to Rupert Sheldrake's morphic fields. Heart researchers from HeartMath found stunning correlations with human heart field measurements, and physicists in labs in Geneva and Tokyo confirmed remnants of these vibrations during ultra-cold experiments with Bose-Einstein condensates. What we are witnessing is the beginning of a new era, one that goes beyond matter, beyond atoms, waves, and particles, into what we call the soul. And yet, the official narrative remains silent. The maps have been drawn, the sensors recorded, and we now stand at the edge of a discovery that could forever reshape our understanding of life, consciousness, and the universe. In the next chapter, we dive into the definition of this field, how physics and mysticism converge, and why it is exactly here between data and belief that the greatest truth of all emerges. Imagine space around you isn't empty, but filled with subtle vibrations, invisible yet measurable. In physics, it's called the quantum vacuum, the primal substance from which particles emerge and vanish, a seething sea of zero-point energy that persists even in absolute cold. Then there are morphic fields, a term introduced by biologist Rupert Sheldrake in 1981, suggesting that shapes, behaviors, and memories are transmitted cosmically like blueprints for all living things. But what if these are just modern terms for something far older? HeartMath field and Akashic memory. HeartMath Institute studies 2019 have shown the heart generates its own electromagnetic field that extends meters beyond the body. This field synchronizes with brain waves and even with the fields of other people, a proven basis for empathy, remote healing, and collective resonance. Meanwhile, ancient esoteric traditions speak of the Akashic records, a cosmic memory in which every thought, every deed is recorded. Modern thinkers like Ervin Laszlo combine both concepts. They call it the Akashic field, a kind of backup drive for the universe's history. The Schumann resonance, Earth's pulse. Since 1952, we've known the Schumann resonance pulses at 7.83 Hz between the Earth and the ionosphere, a global frequency that influences animal migrations, plant rhythms, and even human brainwaves. Recent NOAA measurements, 2024, document sudden spikes up to 14 Hz, evidence that our planet is entering a new energetic sphere. The spiritual field and Earth's resonance are thus deeply intertwined. Those who align their consciousness with this global pulse elevate into a higher state of being. Ancient texts confirm it. Surprisingly, references to this field can be found in humanity's oldest writings. The Vedas, 1500 BCE, describe Akasha Tattva, the fifth element, the essence and carrier of all forms. Taoist texts, like Tao Te Ching by Laozi, 6th century BCE, speak of Wuji, the limitless primal space where yin and yang unite. Even the 2025 Encyclopedia Britannica links conscious field to the quantum vacuum, morphic fields, and spiritual traditions. These intersections prove science and mysticism are not opposites, but two views of the same infinite field, a field that connects us, shapes us, heals us, and transforms us. If your heart is now vibrating, resonating with this universal frequency, then you're ready for the next chapter, your inner compass, the tools to not just float in this new reality, but to become a beacon of light within it. When data arises that challenges our entire view of life, consciousness, and the universe, it isn't surprising it gets buried. Why? Because truth is less dangerous if it never sees the light. Political, military, and economic interests. Imagine this scene. Behind locked Pentagon doors and global space agencies, they're not just discussing rocket launches, but also the possibility of an omnipresent consciousness field. Whoever controls this field could dominate communication, surveillance, even psychological warfare. Military-industrial researchers already hold patents for thought-scanning technologies based on subtle electromagnetic fields. A public admission wouldn't just threaten their research, it would destabilize global power structures. The role of religion and the establishment. At the same time, the religious establishment clings tightly to its dogmas. It fears not the spiritual field, but the decentralization of its authority. Because if people realize that consciousness doesn't belong to priests or dogmas, but pulses in each of us, the hierarchy loses its grip. So neuroscience papers that mention the Akashic field or quantum consciousness go largely ignored in theological circles. Publishers of spiritual literature pull back books that become too scientific. What you can do now. This veil survives through passive silence, but silence is not a law of nature. It ends the moment someone finds the courage to speak. You can start now. Educate yourself. Explore open-access quantum physics journals. Search for zero-point energy and morphogenetic fields. Connect them with spiritual texts like the Vedas or Bardo Thodol. Share your insights. Talk to friends. Post articles. Network with like-minded people. Every shared spark creates a crack in the silence. Create transparent spaces. Organize or join local groups where science and mysticism coexist as equals. Community builds resonance. The great silence ends with the first outcry. If you ask a question today that no one else dares to, you step into a space where truth becomes sacred again. And from silence, dialogue is born. Zeitgeist, Outro, breaking the silence. Do you feel the weight lift, now that you understand why so many truths stayed hidden? Now it's up to us, to fill the silence, to ask questions, and to carry light into the dark, together. Tell us in the comments, which suppressed discovery shocked you most today, and what will you do to make it known? Subscribe to Zeitgeist so you never miss a mystery again, and so we can break the boundaries of the known. Share this video with those ready to break the great silence and live the truth, because only those who speak can be heard, and only together can we write a new story. It's no coincidence you're here, spirit to spirit.